Hi everyone, welcome to the War Society, a channel all about books hosted by two bookish friends. I'm Sumaya, lovely to meet you. Today is a good old book wrap up. I have finally read enough books to film a video like this. I haven't filmed one since April. That should tell you a lot. So here on World Society we have a series called Know Her Work, and I have made a video on Audre Lorde and Toni Morrison. And for the Toni Morrison video I read Beloved and Sula. In the video I go more in depth about these two books and I talk more about Toni Morrison herself. So if you want more information you can go over there. But Beloved specifically is about the runaway slave Seth, who at the point of recapture kills her infant daughter to spare her a life in slavery, and then things happen. It's one of my favorite Toni Morrison books that I've read. Fair enough, I only read 3, but I love Toni Morrison's writing, and I liked Sula more because I loved the discussion of friendship, and I loved the discussion of seeing the different lives between the main characters. Sula is about the two characters, Sula and Nell, and how they grew up in radically different households in Midwestern America, and they have a really intense close bond, but because of something Nell does that kind of breaks their friendship forever, but they still have that bond nevertheless. I loved it. I could not stop reading it, and I think it's just a testament to Toni Morrison's writing. Magnifique. Not to continually plug one of my videos, but I made a reading vlog for The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. I'm really proud of it. Please go and watch it. But The Princess Diarist is a memoir by Carrie Fisher, and it has the diaries that Carrie had while filming the first Star Wars movie. And how does one describe the reading experience I had? Let's just say when I'm really sad, I really gravitate to Carrie Fisher's books, and I go more in depth about that in that reading vlog. But there's just something about the humor in Carrie's writing. It's really comforting, and it's also really interesting to analyze the way that Carrie in 1976 talks about Carrie, and in 2016 Carrie talks about Carrie. It feels like two radically different Carries, because the first one is pretty sad, pitiful, but the second one seems a little bit more happy, more reflective, and I identify more with 1976 Carrie, and hopefully I'll have a character development where I'm not as sad as I am right now. Oh, I'm not sad. I'm just, it's 2021. The world is a scary place, and it's bumming me out. Anyway, I love The Princess Diarist. It's one of my comfort reads. It makes me feel better. So 5 out of 5 stars, masterpiece. Now we get to one of my favorite books of 2021. Brace yourself. It's The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Oh my god, I knew I would love this book because I loved Matt Haig's book, The Reasons to Stay Alive, and I listened to the I Weigh episode where Matt Haig is featured, and the way that Jamila Jamil and Matt Haig talk about The Midnight Library, and the way that it's been hyped on BookTube just made me yeah, that's a book for me. And The Midnight Library is just a library filled with books where the main character can pick one and immediately be in the life that she could have had if she didn't stop swimming or did X, Y, or Z. And just that concept has always intrigued me my entire life. I've always gone on walks and been like, if I went that other way, would I've met someone cool? Or if I continued to write, would have made a difference? So reading a book with that concept, I never thought I would have that opportunity. Thank you, Matt Haig. Thank you. I also listened to the audiobook Hood Feminism by Mikki Kendall, and in Hood Feminism, Mikki Kendall argues that basic necessities like housing, food security, medical care are basic feminist issues and should be argued and talked about as such. I think my friend, this is her @ go and follow her, actually summarized the book pretty well. Let me read what she wrote. Hood Feminism. This book brings feminism back to the fundamental issues that we need to focus on. For what does it matter that we have a female president when millions of women can't afford safe housing, being respected by doctors, and food security? Mainstream feminism has become white-centric and flood our digital spaces with inspiring pink-colored quotes about being CEOs instead of focusing on the basic needs of people everywhere. Yeah, that's why I wanted to read it, because I could not have written a review like that. Glory! Hood Feminism is also really America-centric. I learned a lot about America. Wow. I don't know when I'm gonna visit. I'm a little scared. But I think what Kendall is actually arguing is applicable for women and people all over the world. So yeah, I liked it. Now we get to a book that was pretty interesting to read. It was Wage Slaves by Daria Bogdanska. Wage Slaves is a comic book memoir about when Daria came to Malmö, Sweden to go to art school, and she needed to get a job but can't get a job because she needs a Swedish ID number, but she can't get a Swedish ID number without getting a job. You see how that would make you go insane? Wage Slaves also shows how underground jobs are forcing immigrants to settle for a substandard quality of life, and shady things happen at Daria's job, and she unionizes and together with a journalist takes down her boss. We are here for it. Unionize. You should unionize. It was really fun reading about someone moving to Sweden and experiencing Sweden for the first time. For example, Daria realizing how expensive bread is in Sweden was really funny to me, because Sweden, in fact, is the third most expensive place in Europe to buy bread. We here are just used to the pain. We live with it, so it's almost like unconscious, like, yeah, bread costs 30 something kroner. But actually reading it was pretty difficult. I don't know if it's my dyslexia, but the font is really small in some panels, and I almost got a little lost reading it, but overall I liked the experience. I believe there's an English edition. I can have it here on the screen if there is one, but yeah, unionize. Read this book. If you watched my trying to read all of my unread books video, you will recognize The Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. It was such a sweet story. It's about Dea and Joshua, or Joshua, I'll say Joshua, who are seasonal best friends who mainly hang out during the fall when both of them work at their local pumpkin patch, and on their last shift, things happen, and it's so darn cute. I read it in one sitting because it's easy to just get through it. I love the art style. It's such a sweet story. Now I get to another Swedish book that does not have an English translation, so I'll get through it really fast. It's Amat Levin's Slumpest. In Slumpest, Amat Levin talks about the connection Sweden and Gambia have to each other and connects that with his personal family history. It's both informative but also incredibly touching. I'm trying to find more books about being Black, specifically in Sweden. There are not that many, and even though it's Gambia, I feel like the experiences that the people that Amat writes about is applicable to all African descendants living in Sweden. We're gonna end this video on a low note because this last book is one of my most disappointing reads of 2021. I feel really awkward saying it because I'm so much more comfortable saying this book is amazing rather than saying, oh, this book sucks, because I'm always a little afraid of the reaction. But don't come at me. But the book is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otesha Mashfag. Listen, this book doesn't suck. It's great. I love the first half of it. However, the resolution at the end made me confused. I wanted more of a resolution. I thought sleeping for an entire year would make someone like come to a like, which she did, but I wanted more of it said. I talked to Sunny, the other host on this channel, and she said that the resolution goes throughout the book, like seeing someone want to sleep, not exist for an entire year, and then how she comes out of that is the actual resolution. It's almost like a case study of a lonely person wanting to sleep away and disappear, and how someone comes out of that is the resolution of the book. That's a good point of view. I'm not saying that I disagree with that point of view. It's just that I wanted... Can you really, like, when you review a book, say I wanted this from this book when that book just wasn't that? Because this book didn't give me the resolution I wanted, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad book. It's a great book. I love the first half of it, but the ending of it made me really disappointed. But it's still a good book, and I like the writing, and obviously has found a place in a lot of people's hearts. So don't come at me. It's a good book, just not for me. That's all I have for you today. I really wish I had more books to share with you. I haven't really read that much the past couple of months. But did you read any of the books that I mentioned? Do you agree with anything that I said? Let's talk down in the comments. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you soon. Bye.